You know, when we take a look at the condition of the state of Florida right now, internally, it's a grim picture. Insurance, state-run insurance company, Citizens Property Insurance Corporation, has estimated exposure of about $500 billion with $8 billion of reserve. We are one catastrophe away from bankrupting this state. And who's on the hook for it? We are, as taxpayers. Citizens is the largest insurance company in the state, and it is the 5th largest insurance company in the nation. This is unacceptable. Foreclosures in our state. 1 in 4 homes in some phase of foreclosure. Population is in decline for the first time since World War II. Occupational licenses are down. Unemployment, 11% in the state of Florida. And these are government numbers, if you want to believe them. I would argue that they're high. Roughly 1 million people in our state unemployed. Just north of here, Palm Coast, #1 metropolitan area in the state for unemployment at 17%. Flagler County leads the way. That means if you go there, almost 1 in 5 people are unemployed. That's the state and condition of this state. Education, depending on what survey you look at or which ranking mechanism, we're somewhere from 30 to 47, I don't know. But I've never really heard people talk up the state-run school system here in Florida. Those are the conditions that we are in this state right now. But it gets worse, because not only do we have problems in-house, there are all sorts of external forces moving against us as well. Cap and trade is coming. It's coming. There is an agenda to move that forward. The health bill's here. The federal government has indicated through its actions and words, its goal is to take over private industry wherever and whenever it can. Insurance, health, auto, so on and so forth. And the welfare state just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Times are great if you live in D.C. Times are great if you live in Montgomery County. It's booming. I wonder why that is. I spoke when I first got up here of an error. The error that needs to be corrected. The correction that I want to be a part of. There's 2 ways to correct that error. First of all, we must resolve here and now that government is the problem. Government is not the solution. Government cannot stimulate anything. We must resolve this. My country is not my government. My country is the land that I live in, that affords me opportunities of life, liberty, and happiness. My country is where my family lives. My country is where my friends are. My country is the nation that my grandfather in World War II fought to defend. My country is not this government. And until we realize this, until we resolve this to be a fact, we will continue to be nothing more than serfs toiling in the fields of our overlords. And that's exactly how we are viewed. The second correction, we must vet candidates. We keep sending the same people. We send the same people, and then we're just irate and so surprised, and imagine that, nothing changed. It's the same. Look, we need to vet men and women based upon their principles, not their ability to conduct politics. Politics in America is a racket. Its participants, known as politicians, plunder the taxpayer to fill up the public trough and then use that money to dole that out to its supporters so that they can remain in power. That's the political climate in America. We must vet candidates. We must grill them. You must grill me. And we cannot continue to send the same candidates back over and over and over, and their ilk. A number of positions of mine. I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. The Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. The Founding Fathers did not affirm this right to us. Notice I said affirm. They didn't give us this right. This is already our right. These rights are endowed to us by our Creator. They do not come from the Constitution. They are affirmed by the Constitution, and they certainly don't come from government. But the Second Amendment was given to us to keep and bear arms, not to defend ourselves against thugs or to go hunting and so on and so forth. No, we were affirmed this right to protect ourselves against an oppressive government. Because the precursor of tyranny, the precursor of oppression, has always and will always be disarm the population. A tyrannical government cannot press their boot on your head if you are armed, and they know that. And I am so sick and tired of these arguments about reduction in crime and, well, what do you really need this? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a free people desiring to remain free and remaining armed, as history has shown, is the way you remain free. Taxation. I refuse to be sucked into any argument regarding taxes, tax reform, so on and so forth, that does not first discuss spending. Taxation is a function of spending. Until we cut spending, until we cut the size of government, we will not have tax reform. We will not have legitimate tax reform. I do not support what is known as tax revenue neutral tax reform. Revenue neutral tax reform. This means that, for example, say I'm consistently taxing $100 from this gentleman. My reform is that, well, instead of that, I'll only take 25 from him, but I'll get the other 75 from these gentlemen. I'm getting the same amount. I'm just plundering somebody else. That's not tax reform. I support across the board. But we've got to cut government first. We don't need to send in weak people with a scalpel. We need to send Paul Bunyan in with an axe and start hacking away at every level possible. Education. First ownership of